Hey Soul Family, quick heads up. This Tuesday, August 12th at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, I'll be live streaming part 7 of the Soul Awakening podcast, Embodying the Universal Laws. Part 7 is the Law of Rhythm, the dance of life. If you've been feeling stuck or off or tired, this one's for you. We'll talk about how to stop resisting the ups and downs of life and start moving with your soul's natural rhythm. You're not broken. You're just in a different season. Let's stop forcing and start flowing. Tune in this Tuesday. I'll meet you there.
Welcome in. Welcome in, all. I'm going to say that again. Welcome in. Welcome in, all. Hold on just one second. I have an echo. I'm going to get rid of the echo. Seventh universal law, the law of rhythm. This law reminds us that everything in the universe moves in cycles. You can tell it in the tides, in the seasons, in the rising and falling of a breath, the wind, the echoes through the canyons. So just as the ocean breathes into a wave and exhales out of the wave back to the ocean, so do our lives. They expand, they contract. This was given to us for divine purpose, if you want to use that word divine. Right? If you want to use the word divine. It was given to us with purpose. And we were given intention within us to breathe into life, to create, and then exhale out of life to change it. It's a cycle. Nothing was ever supposed to stay the same. Everything comes to a rhythmic end and then a rhythmic beginning. The law of rhythm teaches us not to resist the ebbs and the flows, not to resist the expansion and the contraction, but to consistently dance with this rhythm. In this episode, we're going to explore the laws that show us how to emotionally embrace, embody this rhythmic call. Embrace it in your spirituality, embrace it in your spiritual evolution, embrace it in your reality. I know everybody's telling you this is only you're a soul just dreaming that you're human, but this is a reality that we were given. So however you see your reality is however you dive into your ebbs and flow are solely upon you. You're responsible for them all. Whether you know them or whether you're aware of them or not, whether you're conscious of them or not, whether you believe in them or not, the ebb and flow of rhythm of the universe is constantly playing in your background. So let's take a deep breath. Let's take another one. Ebb and flow. One last one. Your breath. Your inhalation and your exhalation. Your rhythm. Let's open our heart space. Let's open our intuition space. And dig down deep into our root space to understand the law of rhythm. So just as we said, the tides rise and they fall, the moon waxes on and it wanes, our lives do also. We have seasons: winter, summer, spring, fall. It all changes, and it all has a rhythm and cycles, patterns. This law reminds us that nothing is going to stay the same forever. That when we resist rhythm, it comes to us in the form of suffering or hardship or difficulties. That which we resist persists. It keeps coming around and it keeps asking you, what do you want me to do with this? Because it reminds you, you created the rhythm. Whether you were conscious of it or not, whether you were aware of it or not, whether you believe in it or not, we're responsible for it. We are rhythm. Every time the blood moves through your body to different organs and through your whole systems to regenerate everything in your body, that's rhythm. It's ebb and flow. It's going to happen. Even when you're sleeping, the ebb and flow of your lungs, the ebb and flow or the contraction of your heart as it beats. It beats, then it pushes blood through your body, then it contracts, and then it takes in air, and then it pushes blood through your body, and then it contracts. It's a rhythm to it. Ever put your hand to your heart and felt it beating? Ever put headphones on before the music starts? If your headphones are securely on your ears, you can hear your heartbeat. Ebb and flow. When we learn about this flow, we begin to understand how to align to its wisdom, because it has a wisdom of the universe. So we're going to learn how to explore the deeper meaning of the law of rhythm, how to recognize it and how to honor it in your current season, not someone else's. They've got to honor theirs in their own season. why we're resisting the low phases, and how that leads to burnout and imbalance. How to live in tune with our own natural energetic flow, and how to practice embodying this law in our spirit, in and on our spiritual path. As you settle into the space, let's keep taking those deep breaths, the ebb and flow. The law of rhythm tells us that every cycle moves. Everything in the universe moves. There's a cycle for growth, and then there's a cycle for everything as what we call dying. Right? Farmers learned this early on, that there's a cycle for planting the seeds and allowing the rain to fall and the wind to carry the seeds across so that it can ground and begin to grow. There's a season for that. There's an ebb and flow to it. Then there's a season to harvest. And then there's also a season to allow the ground to regenerate before it gets planted again or planted in again. The ebb and flow. The rhythm. This law reminds us that all life flows in repeating patterns. Nothing stays static. It's got to change. We might want it to stay the same. When you're riding high, rhythm ensures you eventually slow down, like a pendulum. When you're in a low, rhythm guarantees that you'll return to a high or to the light. You can't have one without the other. Here's some natural examples that, if you want, we can examine. The tides. That's why most people love going to the beach, because they love hearing the ebb and flow of the water. The ebb and flow of the water is controlled, or it's believed to be controlled, by the moon. The moon understands the ebb and flow. The moon understands the contraction, the pulling of the waves in and the pushing of the waves out. It understands. Let's talk about another one. This one I notice a lot of people have complaints about: the seasons. In many different parts of the world, the seasons happen differently. But it's still an ebb and a flow. It's still a rhythm. In Australia, right now, they're in winter while we're in summer. Still an ebb and a flow. Still a rhythm. While California right now is having a beautiful, sunny, hot day, there are parts of the East Coast that are feeling torrential rains, ebb and flow. It's a rhythmic to it. It's not always going to be the same. It's not going to be the same in 2025 as it was in 1979. The law of rhythm guarantees that change is going to happen. Another example is night and day. Night and day. The universal law within this duality, three-dimensional duality, requires that we have night and day. It's a vibrational flow. We flow from morning into afternoon, into evening, into night. Night, we get the chance to reset through sleep, ebb and flow. And then we flow from sleep to morning to awakening to a new now moment. Our breath, the inhale and the exhale. And lo and behold, the last one are emotional cycles. They help teach us about us. They help us to know thyself through our emotional cycles. We were told that the emotional cycles are bad, but no. If we're acknowledging them and asking them embodying questions, it's a contraction and an expansion and a contraction. It's a shifting and evolution and then shifting and evolving again. It's a wash and a rinse and a repeat. In nature, nothing blooms all year, and yet we expect ourselves to. Nothing blooms all year. Roses don't bloom all year. Grapes don't grow as sweet as they could during their cycle, though we as human beings grow them all year. And then we get upset when they're not there at their sweetest. It's the same way with watermelon. The law teaches us to trust divine timing. Trust that the divine, the creator, knew what it was doing when it created the law of rhythm, the ebb and flow of everything, including you. We are not in control of the flow. We're just part of it. I'll repeat that again. We are not in control of the flow. We are just part of the flow. The flow is energy, and energy will flow till it gets to you and it says, what can I do for you? And being part of that flow, you can say, this is what I desire. I intend to be happy today. And that's where your flow is going to rise and fall at, depending on how intensely you are embodying that moment that you want. Everything has a season, including you. When I started a new job, and I go at the 8-year mark of one job, all of a sudden the new owners decide, or then they were new owners, they were mom and pop owners, they grew their company, and at 8 years they decided to sell. Ebb and flow. And then the contraction or the flow of that changed for me. Right? because when they sold the company, the new owners came in and they wanted to have their own accounting department. So then that contraction pushed me out to experience another job, a new company, new mom and pop growing their company, right? Everything is expanding and contracting. You may not have seen it in your life like that, but embody that. Start looking at your life in little now moments, even in past, because each one of your past moments was a now moment. Don't try judging it. Just try having that moment of discernment, that quiet moment of awareness, being aware of it, and seeing where the expansion and the contraction is. And once you are aware of it, then you get to decide, what do I want to do with it in my now moment, because it's calling me to do something. Most people have a fear of the ebb. The low tide to failure. But the low tide is not failure. It's rest. It can be integration. It can be preparation. A lot of people avoid clinging to the highs because they're over attached to success or the good vibes, which can lead them to fear of this ending and coming to an end and having fear of change. But everything is an ebb and a flow. Ebb and a flow requires change. Everything is rhythm. Everything is a pattern. It'll show up and it'll show you where you might want to go, or where you might, or when it's time to leave a certain method or story, and choose a different method to go to a new story. The law of rhythm is in everything. Your music, it's in your poetry, it's in our poems, it's even in the history books. Rhythm is pattern, and pattern is rhythm. Look at how they help the blind read. The Braille is patterns, rhythmic, written patterns. Patterns, right? Look at all the art that people spend thousands and millions of dollars on, because of a certain brush stroke, because of a pattern, because of a rhythmic pattern that people brush. Listen to the creation of productions of music. And people will say, well, these couple of notes give you this pattern of music. And they say, well, if you're listening to this hertz or this hertz, it's good for to heal cancer, or it's good to ignite your third eye. The law of rhythm requires expansion. It requires you to expand, to allow the rise and fall of the note. It's based on shifting. It's based on growth and evolution. We as human beings, we were made to cycle. We were made to stretch and rest. We were made to create and receive. We were made to burn and renew. Let's talk about, I'm going to talk about a real experience to me that happened to me. In the last 2 years, I've experienced grief. I've experienced burnout. I've experienced a type of spiritual dryness. And at first, I was resisting it because I was saying, well, I'm spiritual. I'm not supposed to be feeling all of this. But I am triune and I am supposed to feel all of this. When my grandson passed away at 4 months, it was a story that I was supposed to feel. The ebb and flow of emotions. When I experienced burnout and found out that that's what my body was saying, I can't take this, Sandy. I'm trying to tell you that you need to take care of yourself. And when we did the mammograms and they found everything, it was my body experiencing the ebb and flow and not acknowledging it consciously and being aware that I needed to take a moment to rest, regenerate, restore, and heal. Those are ebb and flows. We as human beings were meant to do that. I know when you hear the law of rhythm, you want to talk about music and everything. Your body has music in it. Your blood vessels, as they move blood through your body, have a rhythm to it. It has a rhythm that it gives to your liver and a different rhythm that it gives to your bladder and a different rhythm that it gives to your heart and your lungs. A different rhythm that that ebbs and flows in every part of your brain matter. We extend ourselves to the point where we don't listen to the law of rhythm within us. We're too busy listening to other people tell us how we should feel or how we should see things or how we should hear the music. We're busy listening and telling other people how their music is evil and how they hear their music. Rock and roll is this and punk rock is that, and oh, you shouldn't listen to that and you shouldn't listen. There's an ebb and flow to everything that a person chooses to do until they feel that it is not working for their highest and greatest good. They have to embody the rhythm within what they're listening to as far as music, what they're reading as far as words, what they're doing as far as action, who they're becoming as far as their knowing their self-worth and what works for them and what doesn't. There's a rhythm to it. And no two rhythms are the same. Growth and expansion is part of the evolution of ebb and flow, of the contraction and then flow. Eventually surrender to the season and something will shift. I know I had to surrender. I had to surrender to my season of growth in the grief area. I found myself, well, if I had been, in my grandson's life longer, he would have lived instead of died. What does that say? But when you surrender to the ebb and flow of, well, he came, he experienced, and he had to surrender the body that no longer was helping him in his journey. That was an ebb and a flow. I had to surrender to my burnout. Literally burned out so much that I never thought I would take several months off of Instagram, but everything changed. The numbers went down a little, and the people that used to come onto my lives don't come on anymore. But that's ebb and flow. That's not because of me. That's because they had their own ebb and flow. Growth and expansion.